Coach.
All right, Charlie, ready to roll?
Ready when you are.
All right, sounds good. Get started. Hasn't even been 24 hours since I've seen you guys. Thought about on the plane watching it, again this morning watching it, and keep coming back to the same moment of the missed opportunities. And we missed three big ones in the first half. And I think last night somebody might have asked me what was the difference between the first half and the second half. And it's certainly not the same opportunities, which is exactly why you have to take advantage of them. That's the difference between going into the half tied or going into the half with the lead. Defensively, I saw some things I'm looking for. Energy, more speed. I thought, from the offensive side of starting quickly that way, that definitely has to sustain us. We've had to dig ourselves out of a hole before, and we plan on doing that again. But we have to take advantage of our opportunities. That's really the message. So we've got the right people to do it. And I know you guys probably have a lot of injury questions. We haven't had our final medical meeting with some guys still getting scans, et cetera. So I know we meet again tomorrow. So I'll give you a better update. I just don't have enough information to share with you tonight. So all that said, I'll get rocking with you guys and get started about the game.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Real quick on the injuries with Jaden, do you have a plan for him for this week?
Yeah, of course we have a plan. So, yeah, he had a good rehab session on days are screwed up on Sunday. Team's back out at practice tomorrow, and we plan on him being a part of that.
And then you talk about on defense, energy and all that. How did you feel about the McGee, Owens, and them getting more snaps? What did you see from them? And could we see even more of them moving forward?
Yeah, I like the speed that they brought, John. I felt that. Not to say that the game was clean in that way. We had three explosives in the first half in terms of the passing game, but I like the speed that I felt from them. And, they've earned the right to, have some more ops in there too.
Nikki?
What went into the decision of having Tyler Owens start? And I know you guys have been wanting to get Jordan McGee more time, but for Tyler specifically, kind of what went into the thinking there?
Honestly, we were trying to think about into some man-to-man options. Nikki, that was one of them. The second piece was, could we put him, down in where the action is? We felt like that's always been something with Tyler, but it started, born from some man-to-man, ideas, and, then we'd expand from there. So we didn't want to overload, but, start the package enough that he could go and really go execute it.
And not really specific to the game, but just in general, with, deciding of whether to challenge calls, now that you guys have the different view that the replay officials do, has that changed things for you as you make that decision? Has it helped at all?
I think it helps because it gives a little more time, for the person, who's looking at what the actual replay person is looking at. So I think that's a real advantage, Nikki. That did not used to be the case, and they may have had a view that we weren't aware of, and that was kind of the old line. Well, they had a different view. And so now that it feels more similar, there could still be one. I think it was like Terry's catch against the Raiders came finally from I think it might have been like pylon or something that we did not have a view of. So, but it does feel like you have, more opportunities to see the same viewpoints. And so, I think it's a step in the right direction for sure.
Tom?
And I'll go back to Nikki on one thing, because somebody asked yesterday about on the fourth down, do you have a chance to challenge on those? And the fourth downs, you don't, just knowing that those are automatically under review. So I just, I don't know if that came up, but I did say that last night. I just wanted to make sure I hit that again. Tom, go ahead.
Dan, Brandon Coleman was active yesterday for the first time since week 2, I think. What went into that decision, and how do you think he fared at left tackle in place of Larry?
Yeah, Tom, we've been working both. It's a little bit interesting where instead of a normal swing tackle, Brandon's got experience at both left guard and left tackle, and Wiley had experience at right guard and right tackle. So we kind of went into the space of right side and left side as opposed to a swing interior guard. And so because of their experience, we thought that's a good way to go about it. We liked what we had seen from him during the practices. So that's what went into it. And then, as it goes, games happen and, you go in. So that's how it worked out.
JP?
And then just so I understand it, so the Ertz fourth down, you guys couldn't have challenged that spot
Correct.
if you wanted to.
Correct.
Okay.
It's automatically reviewed, JP. So on a change of possession,
Gotcha.
those are automatic. So think of it like a scoring play.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then in the first half, you guys were clearly aggressive on fourth down, and in the second half, there was a punt there late. Was there any debate about going for that, or at that point had the game just kind of shifted?
Yeah, I thought if we got to a certain marker, we still would have went JP. It wasn't at the spot where I thought, it was at the space we could go. So sometimes it just depends on the distance and, what's a feasible one based on kind of where we're at on the game. So that was it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
David Aldridge.
Dan, what do you think is happening with the run game the last few weeks?
Yeah, we certainly need to get it on track, in the best of ways. And I wish I had a better sense to say which ones. We've got a good package, but it has to be, the runs and the play passes. Those have to really be in concert together. We hit a couple of play passes yesterday, which was nice for us to do. Terry had one inside. But we've got to find our ways, even to stick with it some when, there are hard runs to go and one goes for 1 or 0. It can be frustrating, but you just dig and you keep banging for it, and you stay into that spot. And that's, what we'll work to do because it has to be, a bigger part of our game.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Scott.
Hey, Dan, with these 3 straight losses, what is the morale like right now inside your locker room, and how do you keep that morale positive through this?
I think optimism is probably, maybe the better word than morale. And I wanted to find improvement. I wanted to find momentum, in spaces that could we create that. I felt there's some in some spots, Scott, like, I felt on the defensive side in the early parts of creating some takeaways. I felt that's the momentum that we're looking for. When you've been in these spots, man, you dig in together, and that's what you have to do. So I would say the optimism to know these are the things that we're going to work on to get better at. And if we do those, we know what the results will look like. So everybody's frustrated, obviously disappointed. Those are like natural reactions. I think the more important thing, Scott, is what are you going to do about it? And that's the work. And I saw that. I liked what last week's practice was like. We did a lot more good on good, and we'll continue to make those tweaks and adjustments as we need to. I know this is a short week, so it may not be as much, but I think I said a week or so ago, over the next 4 weeks, those are going to be some markers that I'm looking to see us improve upon. But you dig in, man, and you do it together. This is a good group of guys. So, like, that part, they're mad, upset, like all those emotions you would think. But, man, you also got to, go out on the field. And you got to put the work in. And what's the specific thing, this has to happen.
And I was reading some of the post-game quotes last night. I think Zach Ertz said, the clock is ticking. Can you kind of explain that from your perspective of nearing the halfway point of the regular season of, hey, you got to get some urgency, you got to get some wins now because – you don't want to get too big of a hole right now. Yeah,
I think what he's saying, a lot of NFC games be played, but, man, you have to take advantage of it, Scott. That is absolutely where it is. And so that leads us right into this week, in terms of a matchup to go get it. But clock ticking, urgency, all the same. I would agree with him. And his teammates do too. So, but like I said, it's a good group. We want to get it right. And when you miss the mark, that's when it's hardest. But collectively, man, we got to nail it collectively.
Howard.
Hi, Dan. What have you liked the most from what you've seen from Jacob Martin, and where would you say maybe you've seen the most improvement from him?
Probably the last 2 games, Howard. When the opportunity came, I felt like he really could play and get under people. He's not the biggest defensive end, but he's got explosiveness that if he can get under a guy, he can get movement on him. And so I saw that against Dallas. I saw it against Kansas City. He's got a relentless nature about him, and so he's earned these chances and more ops to go get it. But he's always been a very consistent player. He was one of the captains for that reason of just staying consistent. But it's his pad level and his ability to get under guys with getting some speed and jumping the ball, Howard. That's what I've seen from him. And to be a good rusher, you have to beat somebody to the punch. And he's been able to show that he's been able to do that.
What about, sticking with him for a sec, what about off the field?
Yeah, the consistent nature. He and Jeremy McNichol are two of our most consistent teammates, ball players, their routine, their performance, how they conduct themselves. And so players like that are really important on your team. They're glue players because they just don't back off of good standards. And so I always got a lot of respect for players like that. And Jacob and Jeremy remind me of one another in that way, on opposite sides of the ball, but bringing some of those same things.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.